Greetings and welcome back to the You Are Not a Machine YouTube channel. I recently had the opportunity to chat with Paul Kingsnorth, who is an acclaimed cultural critic, novelist, gentleman farmer, essayist, and recent convert to Orthodox Christianity. Paul talks a lot about our contemporary machine culture and the influence of technology on our lives. So it seemed logical that my first interview on this new channel would be with him. Please subscribe and also download the How Did We Get Here reading list. As always, links below. So without further ado, here is part of my interview with Paul Kingsnorth. Have you ever tried to put into words what wisdom is, what wisdom consists of? In every uh, ancient tradition, there's the sense that there's wisdom.
Wisdom is one of those things that you know when you see it, but it's very difficult to put it into words. I'm not sure you could ever define it. It's a bit like trying to define love or something. You kind of know it when you experience it. But I think that wisdom, spiritual wisdom, and cultural wisdom is I think maybe it is something to do with knowing limits. It's something to do with having a connection to God, and it's something to do with having a understanding of your place in the world and knowing the limits of that, and knowing that you're not at the center of things. That's the big thing, I think. Genuinely wise people never think they're very important. I've noticed. Um, there's nobody who likes the sound of his own voice who's really probably wise. I would say. So it's probably about, yeah, well, I mean, this is certainly the heart of the Christian tradition, isn't it? And many other spiritual traditions too. So, putting your ego away and removing yourself from the picture and putting the world first and putting other people first. I think that's probably what wisdom is, and actually living that rather than just talking about it, which is, talking about it's easy, but living it's very different. So yeah, I would say that's if you can define it, that's probably what it is.
You mentioned one aspect of wisdom, which in many ways is not very popular in the modern world. Would you say that older, more traditional cultures tend to be wiser than the modern world? And if so, in which ways? What other ways? I guess are there other ways in which uh,
Yeah, I mean, you think you want to be careful not to romanticize old cultures and all of that. That's easy to do, but at the same time, I think there's zero wisdom in the modern world. I can't see. I look around my culture at the moment, such as it is, I can't see a single wise person. I don't see a wise leader. I don't see a wise. I mean, maybe there's a few wise religious leaders or poets around. I can't see many of them either. But we're not a culture that values wisdom at all. We value power and we value wealth and we value um, technology and we value material stuff, and we're very good at that. That's what the West is great at. We're good at building things and making things and providing material wealth, and you don't want to sniff too much about that because it matters that you're warm in the winter. And yet at the same time, if you don't have any wisdom in your culture, then it's not going to last 5 minutes because you don't really know what the meaning of reality is. So I think many cultures, not all of them, in the past, the traditional cultures that are still alive today, value wisdom in a way that we don't, which doesn't mean everybody in those cultures was wise or that everything they did was good or wise. Um, but you can see it certainly, in every indigenous tradition I've ever come across very much values the notion of the wise elder. You don't get to be an elder unless you're wise. And actually, that's true in the Orthodox Christian tradition as well. A real elder is somebody who can impart wisdom, not just somebody who's old. There's a sense of being somebody that you go to. And I think, again, every traditional culture I've ever heard of and every traditional story I've ever read always features a culture in which this kind of wisdom of the elders is important. It really matters. The elders, the wise elders, and there might only be one or two of them, but they're the people you go to really seek advice on everything from warfare to whether you should get married to how you should worship, because it's a thing that matters and you recognize it when you can see it. And actually I think that our culture's complete devaluing of the notion of wisdom, we probably laugh when we hear the word now, is what's going to doom us ultimately if we don't turn that around, because we have not got any wisdom left and we don't value it. And if that means we're not going to do wise things, and that's going to take us where you'd expect.
Hello again. I hope you enjoyed this installment from my interview with Paul Kingsnorth. As always, please subscribe and also download the How Did We Get Here reading list. As always, links below. And I will see you soon.